everybody. It's Seth Jones, Editor-in-Chief of Golfdom Magazine, and welcome to our newest episode of Golfdom Zoom Views. Our next guest received his associate's degree in turfgrass management from the Stockbridge School of Agriculture, followed by his bachelor's in plant and soil science from the University of Massachusetts. His previous experience as a golf course superintendent includes stints at Hamlet Golf and Country Club and Wheatley Hills Golf Club. In 2011, he was named Director of Golf Courses at the 36 holes at Winged Foot Golf Club. He was on the cover of our most recent issue of Golfdom, and in September, he and his team will host the course's 6th U.S. Open. A certified golf course superintendent since 2002, it's my pleasure to welcome to Golfdom Zoom Views, Stephen Rabideau. Steve, thanks for taking the time to join me today.
Glad to be here.
All right. So obviously a lot has been changing as we've been moving through this year, but I'm curious if you can just first off give me an update. How are things at Winged Foot right now in preparations for the 2020 U.S. Open Championship?
Yeah, things are good. This would have been advanced week. Sunday would have been the start of championship week. So, a lot's changed. Championship is now in September. With this COVID, the COVID pandemic going on, we've basically did March, April, and May with a very limited staff, like everybody has been. We just started ramping up with with the rest of our crew here in June. So we're trying to get the place in shape, and now we got to get through the summer to host the championship in September.
That's a great segue into my next question, Stephen. I guess, can you talk to me about with the new dates, the September U.S. Open at your place? What kind of challenges does this new dates present to you guys for having your course ready to roll?
Well, at first, I think everybody thinks, September is a great time to have a championship. And although it has the potential to be a great time of the year, it definitely poses a bunch of problems. The first one is daylight. So even putting a championship on that time of the year, we get about 2 hours less daylight. So when we start in the morning, the first tee times is still going to be about what they would be in June at like 6:50, I believe. So we'll be doing everything in the dark, trying to prepare a golf course in the dark. But one of the biggest challenges, I think, for us is the rough and keeping the rough like we would want it in June and September. So now having to keep it and fertilize it and keep it good and healthy and thick can bring on a whole slew of diseases. So we're going to be spraying the rough for summer patch and, pythium and gray leaf spot, which is things that we, normally wouldn't do. We spray our rough, but we don't spray it specifically for those things. So, it's just going to be harder, having a championship in September, it's the end of the season, right? It's usually when things are winding down and we're aerifying because things are tired. And now we got to ramp up to host a championship. Ball mark repair and divot recovery and collection areas is going to be something we're going to have to be mindful of. And, because the ergonomics, the championship still wants the same ergonomics that we would have in June. And now that's in September. So it just poses a whole slew of, added pressure and added work,
Absolutely. Well, I know you guys are grinding away at it, and leading into the story that we did in Golfdom, and appreciate you and your crew and how you guys were able to work with us on Golfdom and get that story out and tell your story, because it was an interesting time in the world of golf, and it continues to be an interesting time. But let's talk about, you've obviously been there for several years now, and you're such a well-respected superintendent, well known in the industry, and you've had some success, some career success. And I was just wondering if you could, any tools of the trade, anything you want to tell me about the kind of hallmarks of what you've done, what you use and input at your course to make sure you get the conditions that they expect from you.
I think I take a lot of pride in the fact that everything we do is on public display every day. And I think that with that and where everything we do is out there for members and guests to see every day, we become babysitters of the property, and that takes a lot of time and effort and a lot of long days in the summer. And I try to instill that in all my guys that, especially when we grow Poana, we're here babysitting it. well into the night, in the summer. I think Poa is the best putting surface, but in the heat of the summer, it needs to be watched and syringed, and you got to be here. You got to be here in the summer, and I think that's one thing I try to instill in all my guys, and in that, you know, if we want to look good day in and day out, we need to be the ones taking care of it. I think one of the other things I do is I walk the golf course every day, and I think that's and I know there's a lot of people that might not have the ability to do that at smaller places, but I think when I walk the property every morning, I get to see, I try to see the greens, I see everything out there because we're so busy afterwards, but I get to feel it and see what's out there. And, it's my one time to see it before I'm socked in the office or we're too busy with play. So I think those are a couple good things that I try to do every day that are helpful.
Okay, fantastic. Talk to me about what we're going to see in September. How is this U.S. Open going to be different? What can you being on the inside? Can you describe to me what some of the things that we might be able to expect when it does get here?
Well, I think we don't know yet. With the COVID pandemic, we just don't know what September is going to look like. We do know it's not going to be what it was supposed to be. Where it's not going to be the build out that it was going to be, which, for us, our East course was going to get a bunch of it was going to be compromised, and that's not going to happen now. So that's good. The members are happy with that. I think there's still going to be certain areas that are going to be impacted, but the impact on it is not going to be what it was. So that's a good thing. Less we'll have to do to restore. It's just hard. It's just hard for us planning. We don't even know how to plan for volunteers and stuff yet because we don't know what the future brings. So it's just, and I think everybody's in that boat right now. It's just, we don't know if it's going to be fanless or with fans, or we just don't know. It's too early to tell.
Yeah. Steve, is there anything that, as we get to, we're talking here at the beginning of June, any silver linings to any of this? I know when we talked back when we were getting the magazine ready, it was pretty stressful because there was a moment there when we were first talking where you didn't know where this tournament was going to fall on the calendar or what was going to happen. And now we're through all that. Anything where you can look and see, is there any silver linings here for in terms of the tournament and the work you guys are doing?
Well, I think it's going to be a test to my crew. We're going to have to fight through the whole summer. Knowing that it was a big pickup for the crew, being that, there was times that we didn't know what was going to happen. We didn't know if it was going to be held here or not. And once we found that out, that was a pickup. And, you have to try to spin it and try to find good in it. And it's a challenge now for our crew. And, I've told the guys that, we want to have the same conditions in September as we do June. So everybody's embracing that. And it's going to be a long summer. But we're going to take it as a challenge and fight through it. And hopefully in September, it looks like it would have in June or this week right now.
Yeah. I remember when we were talking, you said, you're used to being a superintendent, but with this, you had to kind of become almost like a life coach at some point, just to help out the crew and to, keep everybody focused, and with the new dates and everything, everybody on track. Now I'm sure it's a relief to have the dates and you guys all have a common goal again.
Yeah, the first couple of weeks was really hard with the COVID pandemic and just such uncertainty of that, and this new theory of social distancing and essential workers, and and just not knowing, right? I have guys on the staff that have been here. I have a couple of guys that came with me from Wheatley that were had this marked on their calendar, and these guys are going to go on to be great superintendents, and other guys have made have been here working for 4 or 5 years when we've rebuilt everything here. Every late night we've been having, it's been, in the back of their mind, we've been doing it for the U.S. Open, and it was tough. Those first couple of weeks, first month was really tough, and just not knowing is just it's just the uncertainty of it was hard, and I think we're past that now. I still think it's still a bummer to a lot of guys. I'd be lying if I didn't tell you myself too, when you plan for 2 years of knowing what the prototypical U.S. Open is like, and we know that that's not going to be there. But at the end, there'll be a champion. and we'll have the 100 and I think it's 144 some of the best golfers in the world here, and we get to test them on Winged Foot, which is what it's really all about. And it'll be a great televised event, and hopefully, the rest is uncertain. We don't know, but there will be a champion crowned.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, Steve, hey, I want to show you this real quick. See if I can share this with you. This was almost 5 years ago to the day. You did this interview with us, and I thought that was a pretty cool timing there. So when you visited the 19th hole with us at Golfdom. So really, I just wanted to say thank you for all the support you've given our magazine over the years. And you're obviously a busy guy, but you always looked out for us here at Golfdom. I got the same lids you do. I'll wear it with pride
Nice.
here. So best of luck to you guys, and obviously the industry's behind you guys, and we're looking forward to seeing what this tournament looks like. So Steve, thank you and good luck.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Okay, Steve, everybody, Steve Rabideau. I'm Seth Jones. Thanks for checking in with us here on Golfdom Zoom Views.